Hi everyone, this is BritSimon. So hopefully you've been selected in the DB 2024 lottery. If so, congratulations. That's fantastic news. I was actually a part of the DB 2014 lottery. That was when I got my green card through that. My wife was the winner. So I know what you're going through. I know the excitement and the joy you must be feeling. And this is a pretty simple process. It's pretty difficult to get it wrong, but there are some things that you can cause yourself a problem with in following the process. And I just want to help you through the steps without making a mistake, right? So take a little bit of time. And in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips that will help you fill in your DS260, right? Now, the DS260 is the first thing that you have to do. So you've been selected, and you've presumably read the selected letter, and now you've gone to the CX system, which is where you start to fill in your details, right? And that's an application for an immigrant visa. So that's the first thing you have to do. And after that point, you just wait quite a long time. You wait until your case number is ready for interview, etc. But this first step is a critical step, and you can actually make or break your case right here, right now, with the way that you handle this step. So it's important to take your time and make sure that you do this right. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 tips, and these will help you, I promise. Okay, so the first thing I would say is, this is really critical. When you go to the CX site to fill in your DS260, you may not get in at first try. You may have got some mistakes in the information you're entering into the system. Okay, so stop right there. Don't do any more. You mustn't try and enter too many times into that system. If you're making a mistake with how you're entering your details, and you continue to try and get into your form, then you will block your form. You'll get it locked up. It'll be blocked out to you. And the process to get it unblocked is very difficult. You have to contact KCC. You have to go to the embassy. You get a code from the embassy. It's a pain. It's not going to be a quick process. It can take months. And some people have actually lost their whole chance through making a mistake on this first step. So take this one very seriously. Don't keep trying to enter your DS260 if you have some details wrong. At the bottom of my YouTube video, I'm providing a link to a video where I have addressed the most common reasons that people can't get into their DS260, okay? And so watch that video first before you do anything else, before you go any further trying to get into your DS260, okay? Next thing is just sit down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever and have some documents ready. You'll need your passports for each family member that's going with you. You'll need, preferably, you'll need your birth certificates if you can find them. Why I'm suggesting you need your birth certificates is that sometimes people think they were born in a certain city, but actually the birth certificate says something else. And so you need to be accurate in where you're putting your information, etc. So get some basic documents together. You're also going to need your address history. You're going to need some history about your school, your education history, your employment history, your social media history. There's going to be several things that you're going to need, right? So get some basic information together, sit down and get ready to fill out the form, okay? Now, you don't have to complete the form all in one go. You can enter into the form, put some pages in, and you can save as you go. And roughly speaking, it will save a whole page of information at a time. So as long as you've completed a page, you can save. There's a place at the bottom of the form where you can click save, and you save your progress as you go. And I would suggest you do that as you go. There's no harm in doing that, even if you plan to continue immediately filling in more information. Just save as you go. It's a helpful thing to do, okay? Now, number 4 tip: if you made a mistake in your lottery entry, now is the time to correct it. The lottery entry information is not that important in terms of what you put in there. If you made a minor mistake in the lottery entry, it doesn't really matter. A single mistake, a couple of small mistakes. If you made a major mistake in there, it can be serious, and I've got various videos and information on those things. But if you've made just a minor mistake, now is the time to correct it in your DS260. For instance, let's say you had a small spelling mistake in your name, right? My name is Simon. Perhaps I put, instead of S-I-M-O-N, perhaps I put S-I-M-A-N, right? Now, if I put that in the DV lottery, that's one thing. It's not a big deal. If I put that same mistake into the DS260, then I appear to be trying to commit some sort of fraud. So now is the time that I need to correct that information. So be very careful that you fill this in, and preferably fill it in for yourself. You don't really need someone else to fill it in for you. Fill it in for yourself so that you can be sure that all the details are right, okay? Read the instructions carefully. Honestly, this one tip alone will save, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of chances, because if you do read the instructions, you won't make mistakes. The instructions are actually pretty clear, and they're not trying to trick you. So in the DS260, there's various instructions, normally to the right-hand side, sometimes above the field that you're filling in. But read all those instructions, okay? And later on, I'm going to give you a link for where I've produced a document that will help you go through the DS260 in more detail. But read the instructions I'm talking about, and that will help you tremendously, okay? And read the instructions, by the way, is something you should be doing during this whole process. This is a life-changing opportunity. So always take some time to read the instructions, okay? Number 6, be honest in your form. Don't lie, okay? If you lied in the original entry, let's say you said you were married when you're not married, or you said you were single and in fact you're married, don't continue the lie. Stop and ask me in my blog at BritSimonSays.com whether the lie you told in your entry is going to cause a problem for the future. But don't compound the error. Don't submit the DS260 with more of a lie. The reason for that is the DV lottery entry is one thing. If you do a lie in that, then you may be disqualified from the lottery for this year, right? But if you submit a DS260, that's a legal document where you're asking for immigration benefits. And if you carry over lies into that form, you could get banned from America for life. It's a serious offense, right? So you don't want to continue a lie. You don't want to introduce a lie. You've got to be honest in this process. This is absolutely critical. You understand you have to be honest, okay? Okay, tip number 7. Right, tip number 7. We want to hide that one. We want to show this one. Yeah, this one. Give the complete history as much as possible for your address, your education from age 12, your travel history, your social media history, and your work history. All of those things. Now, why am I stressing this? Why am I talking about this? Well, very often people will misread the form and they think that all they have to do is to give the latest school that they were at or the latest address they lived in. No, you're supposed to be giving the full history of these things. So on the education, for example, it asks for your education, secondary education. Now, secondary education is all of your education from about 11 or 12, depending on the country you're in. And it's not just the latest high school you were in. So if you moved from one school to another, for example, between the age of 11 or 12 and 18, then you need to list both of those schools, okay? So you need to give the full history of, of the information. And that's important for your travel history, your education history, your address history, your social media needs to be complete, and your work history. the more information, the more transparent, the more honest you can be now, the less likely you are to be delayed at a later date during the process. Okay, so give all the information now so that they've got a complete profile of you. All right, here we go. Create a DS260 for each person you want to include, right? That's the spouse and the children. I'm including this as a tip because some people don't understand. In your own DS260 as the main applicant, you will list your spouse and your children if you have a spouse and children, right? You include those. But simply by including them in your form, that's not enough. You need to, if you plan to take them with you, you need to create a DS260 for each of them, okay? And then you submit the DS260s all at the same time, okay? So make sure you do that. Do the DS260 for each one of the people that is going to emigrate with you. Now, it can only be your spouse and your children. You can't take your brother, your mother, your uncle from the next village. You can't do those, right? It has to be your spouse, your husband or wife, legally married, husband or wife, and your children. Okay, and it could be your children, it could be your stepchildren, it can be adopted children, but the adoption must have happened at least 2 years ago. Okay, and you've got to have paperwork to prove that. Okay, I'm just going to touch on this. Be aware of badly performing embassies. I'm going to create another video on this, but right now, if you are living in a country where your embassy, your local embassy, will be Abu Dhabi, Accra, Addis Ababa, Ankara, Cairo, or Nairobi, there are performance problems happening right now at those embassies, as I'm talking now in May of 2023, which may or may not get fixed later on. But right now, as of today, if you're at one of those embassies, frankly, you need to just sort of stop and think, what you can do about that. So the place which will be selected for you as your embassy is based on your current address. Okay, so if I was sitting in Accra right now, and I also had, let's say I had family in Cameroon, I would probably be a little bit careful about putting my address as Accra. Okay, because if I partially live some of the time in Cameroon, and maybe I think I'm going to be there in a few months' time anyway, because I was planning to move to my family in Cameroon, right? Maybe I would put that address in there. Now, I'm not telling you to lie, but I am trying to alert you to a situation that's going on with those specific embassies that I've mentioned there. Now, the situation, in my mind, is extremely unfair. And they are ruining the chances of people in DV 2023. I hope this will be corrected soon. But if it's not corrected, then then I don't want the impacts to continue to hurt people in DV 2024. And frankly, if you're from the government and you're watching this and you're suddenly realizing that Simon is suggesting people be a bit creative, well, screw you, government. You need to go sort your embassies out, okay? Before you come complaining to me about what I'm suggesting to people, okay? So the word to the wise, because I do know that people from the government watch my videos sometimes, and most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they know that I will tell people always to be honest. But when people are getting screwed over by bad government decisions made at embassies, who are misbehaving, then frankly the gloves are off. Okay, final tip here is make a note of this link, and you'll find this link in the description below the video. This is a web page on my blog, and on my blog I answer questions for DV lottery winners, and I help people through the process. I don't charge anybody any fees. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just doing this because I was a previous winner. I benefited from it. And for 10 years now, I've been helping people through the process. So I've helped many, many thousands, probably over 100,000 people come to the USA through my blog, through my YouTube channel, etc. So in my blog, I created a page a few years ago which helps people complete the DS260. It shows all the pages that you'll go through, the majority of them, and helps you complete the process. So you could actually have that open, or at least read through it one time, so you get an idea of how you should be completing your DS260. All right, that will help you through the process. That's the 10th tip. That's really all I have for you today. I do want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. There are lots of YouTube channels that that talk about the DB lottery. To be honest, I don't want to say anything negative about other channels, but they're not all great. Let me put it like that. They're not all accurate. Let me put it like that. And so, so by all means, please do subscribe to my channel. And over time, you'll see the difference between me and other talking heads talking about the DB lottery. Okay. So, so I hope this video is going to be helpful to you. I hope it was interesting. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Ask any questions you like below the video, but also go over to my blog at BritSimonSays.com and you can ask questions there. All right. Good luck, everybody. Congratulations on being a winner in DB 2024. All right. Bye-bye now.